Hey, great morning to you all. I hope that you've all woken up grateful for your day. And I hope that you've reminded yourself of all of the things that you have to be grateful for. And I hope you've set a high vibe. And I hope when you're seeing limits, you're pushing past it. And I hope when you're seeing any kind of obstacles, you're learning. All right? You're evolving and you're growing. And I hope when you see a setback, hey, it's time for redirection. It's time to assess. It's okay. All right? I want to remind you guys all this morning that, hey, loving yourself unconditionally is the key to being okay. All right? There are so many things that influence us on a daily basis, okay? So I want you guys to see it all clearly. That's all. All right? But love yourself unconditionally through anything that's going on. Doesn't matter what is going on. Your well-being matters more. And there's nothing outside of you that is more powerful than the power of your soul that's giving you life. Your soul, it's made up of unconditional love. Infinitely. And comprised in that is the power of the all-knowing. So, if you tap in and stay in tune with your own being, and you love yourself unconditionally, you're going to work in alignment with the true power of yourself. All right? And the truest power of yourself is what? It's your soul. It's not your physical form. Okay? Through this power, you can manifest anything. Anything that your heart desires. But we've been conditioned to come from a place of the mind. And the trauma and the pain and the past. So, this morning I'm going to answer a couple of questions. Okay? And this is why I'm already answering questions here already in the live. And you know what? No. I'm not going to be out here long this morning. But I'm going to answer a couple of quick questions, okay? Tobi, how do you stay positive? It's a simple choice. It doesn't matter what's happening around me. It doesn't matter what's going on. I have to stay okay. Because that's on me. And all kinds of things can be inflicted on me. It doesn't matter. I have to be okay within my own being first. Why? Because I have to love myself unconditionally. I'm human. And my experience is for learning. So yes, I could pop off the chain. I could feel away. I'm not exempt from all the emotions that have governed my whole life. But where I come from it now is that I don't let them be my governance of my being. What do I mean? Yeah, I get upset. Yeah, I get doubtful. Yeah, I sometimes I'm not as nice as I could be or as patient as I could be. But it's all for learning about me. Okay? So, I stress it. You gotta love yourself. Okay? And that's how I do it. I forgive myself for falling short. That's what I do. Okay? I said, it's okay, Tobi. It's for learning. So did you pick up the lesson? All right. Yes. And yes, I do talk to myself. Hey, I talk myself out of a lot. Because what I've been installed with is not always the best reaction to things. So I have to practice the pause. And I have to love myself unconditionally enough not to make the bad choices for myself. To make the right choices, no matter what's happening around me. For me. And that's why I encourage everybody to tap into their truest power and love themselves unconditionally. Seriously. Because that's your key to overcoming anything. And to be okay. Because loving yourself unconditionally, it means with no conditions. We've been taught to love by condition. So you have to learn how to stop doing that. But only you know how to do that for your being. How did I do that? Okay. Every time I had these emotions come up, I had to figure out why I was feeling the way I was feeling, and if this was harming me or helping me. Okay? That was another question that I'll answer to in this right now, was how do you see things? Okay, well, this is how I see things when I'm assessing things. Are they hindering my life or are they helping my life? And I don't think about it. I allow my body to answer that. So that's the difference, okay? Now, another question. Tobi, being an empath, how do you know when somebody's lying to you? Well, because I feel it in their energy and my soul starts to shake. Not my body, my soul. My soul trembles in my heart when somebody's standing there lying to me or trying to pass the buck on me. Hey, that's not coming from my head. So how could I deny that or refuse that or not look at that? No. I love myself enough to allow the feeling of my soul to guide me. Okay? Another question was, Tobi, you know quite a lot. No, it's not me that knows quite a lot. It's the soul that's fueling me that knows. Yes, I've acquired learning. But once the emotion comes out of that, it gets chalked up in your soul as wisdom. Okay? I don't know a lot. I have so much left to learn. I'm a beginner in this. Seriously. Another question also too was, why am I always trying to learn? Well, because when I've realized that all my life was based on programming and in an installation of fear, trauma, pain, doubt, shame, guilt, denial. Hey, who wants that? I didn't. Got me so sick I had to fight for my life. But hey, that's why I've changed so much. And that's another question I got. Why have you changed so much? Because I had to fight for my life. And owning that and taking the power of that and deciding for myself that I wanted to be in this experience. Well, I didn't do that to be punked off, to be disrespected, to be shamed, blamed, guilted, to be embarrassed, or none of that. So I won't be. And that's on me. And I really appreciate all the questions because it's fueled this live. Okay? But yes, I trust my soul. Because I had to tap into that soul to stay on this planet and in this experience. And I know its power. That's why I sit here and I encourage you all to tap into your own power. Because you can make anything happen. I'm no different than you. We all have a soul. Okay? The power of your being, you can do anything. And it's through learning about all of this stuff and actually having a life force awakening in my being to save my life and to be able to be here to talk about this stuff for change. Listen, we're living in a very dark world. Very, very dark. But I am a light worker. And that is my job here on this planet. Okay? And being an empath is one of my greatest gifts so that I can be a light worker. I transmute darkness into light. That is what I do. And that is what I've done all my life. So when I sit back at my life and I look, because that was another question, how could your life have been so dark, but yet you stand up today as a light worker? Understand this. I was born into trauma to make a difference. When I had my spiritual awakening and I tapped and I reconnected to Source, it was all explained to me. You didn't live your trauma for no reason. You didn't live all that pain for no reason. From the minute that you took your first breath on this planet, Tobi, you have brought light to it. Everybody you have come in contact, you have changed their life for the better. In some way, shape, or form. And it was explained to me why I had to be an empath. So that I could feel what others needed. Okay, to guide them right. And before I had all of these awakenings and realizations, yes, there is so much that I had to endure. But it doesn't define me. It gave me so much power and so much skill today to help others. That's why I had to live it. Okay? Just like that's why every one of you have had to live whatever it is that you've had to live. Seriously. But it is for the bettering of your being today. We're not supposed to stay harnessed to the past. We're supposed to acquire the learning. And we're supposed to heal it. How do we heal it? By giving ourselves the love that we lacked in that situation. Or that interaction. Or that infliction of life. Simple. I had to go back and forgive things in my life and the people in my life that inflicted so much on me. I couldn't hold any grudges, and I've had the most horrid things happen to me. But why? It is so that I could feel the excruciating pain that I had to endure so I could understand another. So I could understand and be compassionate and empathetic towards another. And I've had to experience a lot in my life. But you got to take the emotions out of what has happened to you in the past. So what? It was for learning. I'm a light worker on this planet. I know that. I know that. But I never knew that until I had my Kundalini Awakening and I connected to Source. I was spiritual for years. I was positive for years. I did inner work for years. But my spiritual awakening that happened to me 2 years ago changed my life. Changed my life. Gave me an understanding of the bigger picture. And of the connection between us all. And the power that actually fuels this experience. Do you know that I beat death without knowing about this stuff? Understand that. If you're meant to have a Kundalini Awakening in your life experience, you will. And it won't be avoided. But it happened to me. Why? Because I worked for it to happen. I wanted that connection more than I wanted anything on this planet. But when you play with the universe, it plays with you too. So I had to, hey, please show me answers. Show me. I need to know. Because I can be honest with you. I had beaten death, I had beaten death, I had beaten death, and I had helped and helped and helped. And I thought that I made amends for my past, and I was moving forward. But I came to a point in my life where I said, you know what? This is no longer worth it for me. Yes, I did. And I had to actually catch myself and say, whoa, hey, what am I thinking? Because I'm going to check out if I believe I want to. So, I had to beg for answers. Beg. Because I felt like I was losing my mind. And I was ready to cash out. Literally. And I had to say, please, I need evidence. I am not going crazy. I need evidence. You need to show me. Why? I need an understanding. So I sat down with the highest frequencies that I could listen to for Kundalini Awakening, because I had been practicing meditation for months. Well, that was an experience that I talk about in one of my books. I was so tapped in and ready, I guess, and my soul said, okay, she's ready, that immediately I started feeling like I was being zapped by this electrical force in all of my acupuncture points of my body. And it was hurting. It was literally like I was being zapped, and I got fearful. I got scared. But what was coming at me reassured me. There is no fear in this state of love. Tobi, let go of your fear. And I had to let go of my fear and trust. And once I did, like, I'm getting chills talking about it. Once I let go, that was it. I was no longer in my body. Okay? And the force that welcomed me was, for the first time in my life, I felt loved. Seriously. So while I was there, being the person that I am, I needed to know. So I interacted. And I begged for answers. And the first response that was given to me is relax. Because here, all of your answers reside. Okay? And I was like, what do you mean? Well, if all of the answers are here, I have some questions. And one of the first questions was, well, if I'm so loved, why have I had to endure all I have? Well, it was explained to me. It was explained to me that for generations before me, there was great darkness, and that I accepted my life mission to force change. I had no idea about soul contracts. I had no idea that I had accepted my own life experience to do what I do. All right? I had no idea. But that wasn't enough for me. I wanted more answers. I said, okay, now that I've understand why I had to be born into a family of alcoholism, destructive, violence, I was molested and raped at 4 years old, I had to overcome all kinds of stuff in my life. Why? Hey, to know how it feels. Okay? Understand that. And I'm not upset by this. Okay? I'm grateful for the learning that I acquired that day. Changed my life. These afflictions were no longer afflictions. Okay? The love that sources our being. We accept our experience to come here. We accept to bring light to this darkness because we have to. If we do not bring change, change will not come. And yes, I had to live the darkest of lives to realize how badly my presence on this planet is needed. Because now I understand why I'm here. Whereas before I didn't. Okay? And as I didn't understand, yes, I allowed myself to be consumed by drugs because my family gave up on me. I allowed myself to be consumed by alcohol because, hey, that's the only way I felt relief. I allowed myself to go through the darkest of lives because that's all I knew from my birth. This is why I tell you change is possible. And this is why I tell you there is nothing greater than the power of your soul. Why? Because I got the answers that I needed to finally put myself first. Okay? And to finally believe that I actually mattered here. That's the difference. Do you know all my life I believed I never mattered? Well, now I know I do. And that's why I encourage you all, guess what? It doesn't matter what another is thinking about you, but it matters what you're thinking about yourself. I want you to eliminate any infliction that you feel is shackling you to something you don't want. That is not you. I want you to believe that there is nothing more powerful than the power of your soul, because that's truth. I want you to believe that we are all connected, because we are. I want you to believe in yourself and your creative power here on this planet, because you are here for a reason. All right? In this awakening, I asked, well, why have I been too much then for most? And I was told, because I shake their demons. And I shake their belief systems. And unhappy people don't like to see anybody happy, and they will make sure of it. This understanding that fuels your life experience is the power of the all-knowing. Understand that. Any question that you want answered is there. The answers are there. But there is no shame. There is no denial. There is no guilt. And there is no embarrassment. And there is no bad anything. You see, the reason why I wrote that, you see, okay, let me put it this way. After that Kundalini Awakening, I wrote my first book in 3 days. I had a Kundalini Awakening and I stayed tapped into that power, sat down, wrote that first book, Turning Hell into Heaven, in 3 days. 3 days. Why? Because it was my life force writing that book. Why? Because I had just turned my living hell into a state of heaven with understanding. That was that book. Then with the flood of knowledge and understanding that was coming to me through this power of my soul, I didn't know what to do with it. So I asked, what am I supposed to do with this? I was guided to sit down at the computer. Hey, bang. Your best you. The choice is yours. Second book in another 2 days. That wasn't me writing that book. That was the power of my soul pushing that book out for change in this world. Because I had just realized what my truest job here is to take the darkness and turn it into light. How do you do that? With love and understanding. That's the only way. And that's why I come out here and encourage you guys, love yourselves unconditionally. That is the only key to harness your power. That's the only key to being okay. How can I do that after my life of infliction? Because I turned my living hell into a state of heaven within myself. But that took work. You think I couldn't sit there and blame, shame, guilt, denial, all this stuff, judgment about myself and tap into my power? Never. Those are self-inflicted blockages that I put there. I couldn't harness my truest power. But today I can. And yes, that doesn't exempt me from what we're living. Of course I get these. I'm affected by things happening just as much as anybody else is, but I gotta get it right. Allow the energies to fuel me and to guide me and to, hey, when things aren't right, my soul tells me, my soul shakes. It shakes uncontrollably, like, hey, look at this, deal with this, because, hey, do you think I can go on and do something else? No. Because I've allowed my soul to guide me now? Hey, the power of that is huge. And I realize now that the power of that is bigger than any person, place, situation, circumstance, nothing that you're living. Because when my soul shakes, it doesn't matter what is happening around me. Catch my drift? And that's why I hope and pray that you guys seriously awaken and align. And that's why I tell you the things that I do. Because hopefully you'll start to believe them for yourselves, not for me. Hey. But I'll tell you, that awakening was the scariest thing ever. But when I did submit to that, that's the first time I'd ever felt loved in my life. Now, from that moment, understanding the truest of unconditional love, it's from that point that I was able to get into a relationship. Oh, I hadn't done that in years. And trust me, that's not easy. 20 years I stayed by myself. Why? Because all I had in my life was bad interactions. I couldn't trust another human being. Never. But after this awakening, I figured, hey, let me give this a try. Why am I not allowing love into my life? I'm fueled by love. Okay, so all my life I really wasn't receiving of love because that's never something that was really shown to me. But now that I realize the bigger picture of things, hey, my birthright is to be loved. Seriously. But I got to love myself first before I can love another. That was another key to it all. Okay? But I'm still learning. I'm learning. I want you guys to understand. Everything is for learning. It doesn't matter what happens in your life. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Pick up the keys of information that you need from your learning experiences. Piece them together for you. Learn and move on. We get caught in cycles repetitively because we don't learn. But yes, you agreed to come to this planet. You agreed to live everything that you've had to live. How do I know? Because there is a part of that unconditional love and consciousness that takes note of every single thing that's ever happened. Okay? The pronunciation might be wrong or whatever, but I don't really care. It's called the Akashic Records. So everything you've ever thought, felt, done, said, inflicted on another, or been inflicted with is all taken note of. Oh yeah, it is. How do I know? Because Archangel Metatron is the one that's seated there, taking note of all of this. Do some research on Metatron. Okay? I seriously ask you all to do it. Why? Because then you'll understand why Metatron's blueprint for this experience is on the cover of the first 3 books. All right? There's a lot of understanding there for you. And on that note, too, anybody wants these books because they're interested in their own awakening, let me know. I'll send them to you free. I didn't do it to make a buck. I did it for change because I'm a light worker. And I've sent books, my books, to hundreds of people. Why? For change. And every single person that has read my books has told me I could no longer be the same after. Yeah, well, neither could I. But I want you guys to realize the power that's fueling you. And that's why I do what I do. But this is my job here. And there's nothing of higher priority than to take every bit of darkness that comes my way and transmute it into light. And not just for me, but for every single person on this planet. Anyway, guys, I love you all. I really do. And I want you to get the most out of your experience. Seriously, because you can. But you got to figure yourself out. If you stay inflicted by the thoughts of your past and who you believe yourself to be, well, then that's what you're going to create for yourself. How do I know it? Because I did it. Okay? I want you to get past all of that stuff. And if I can sit here and tell you guys the key is to be unconditionally loving to yourself after all my life has been inflicted with, hey, you guys can do it. No matter what. Put yourselves first. All the time. Why? Because you matter the most in your experience. You didn't just come here on a whim. That energy, that spark of life before your body grew around it, get in tune with that, because that's your power. That's what allowed your being to form. That's truly what gave you your life experience. Anyway, guys, I hope it wasn't too brain rattling for you guys, but I was asked a couple of questions and I had to answer them. And I wanted you guys to understand why I am, yes, why I am the way I am. I have had a spiritual awakening that changed and shifted my life. Gave me an understanding that, hey, it doesn't matter what is going on. Okay? You got this. And I want you guys to be allowing and receiving of love in your life. No matter what, that's your birthright. And if people and places and circumstances and interactions don't feel loving to your core, refuse them in your life. Honestly. Oh my goodness, okay. I was so into it, I didn't even see the comments. Hey, ladies, Paris, I love you. Jennifer, I love you. Paris, wipe them tears. You've cried enough, girl. Okay? And so have I. And that's the point of all of this. You pat yourself on the back, you put your head up high, and you shine. Because that's what you do. You hear me? And it's not to upset anybody. Okay? None of this is to upset anybody. It is to enlighten and make people aware, because knowledge is power. And when you know what's fueling you and you can tap into that and you allow that to govern your life and nothing else, you can manifest everything and anything your heart desires. And that's what I want you to look. And it's not about the fancy cars, and it's not about the luxurious living, and it's not about the fancy bling, and it's not, no. None of that makes you who you are. Loving yourself unconditionally defines who you are, and loving others unconditionally. All right? Hey, I love you guys. I really do. And that's why I'm out here trying to bring so much change and push love out into this dark, dark world. And you know what? I'm going to talk, maybe I shouldn't say this, and maybe if I do, I'll get canceled or muted or whatever, but hey, I'm going to say it. You all better wake up. Take a look at that funeral that just happened and that we've been given a federal holiday for. Did you not see what was guiding that procession? Look up that. Look that shit up. And now I understand more than ever why I have to be a light worker. Because we are being shackled to a governance of what's going on around us and happening that is no. I want you all to go and look that up. Go and look up what has been governing our whole society and what all of our laws came from. And go and look who holds us accountable in the court of law. Now that I saw that animal beast, which is a Satan worshiping, very, how would I say it? Hey, if you don't see that and you don't go do the research on that, well, I tell you, and if you don't rise above that, well, then you agree to be a part of that. Understand that. And I refuse to be a part of that. I am a light worker here for a reason, and I understand it more than ever. And I will own the power of my soul and my experience and infuse change and awareness. And I cannot be silenced. But I will speak about it. I want you guys all to wake up. And why do you think we've been brainwashed and installed with everything different? Hey, because so that you would not own your truest power. Wake up this morning. But really wake up. There's a lot of questions that you should be asking yourself. But your answers lie within. Is this what you're going to allow for yourself in the generations to come? I'm not. You know what? All of that infliction of my life was to understand that hell is here on earth. Well, my state of being will push love and light into this world all the time, unconditionally, because I will go in opposition to everything that I've been trained to be in this world. And I will unconditionally love myself. And I will unconditionally love others. And I will be loving in all that I say and do. Because that is why I have my life experience. Is to do that here. In this great darkness. Well, hey, bring it on. I'm good to go. But I will be okay during it. And this is what I want you guys to get right today. You can stay okay no matter what. Love yourselves unconditionally, and that is the key. I love you all. I want you guys to get the most out of your experiences no matter what. This is why I tell you you're greater than anything happening around you. Because everything happening around you, hey, rise above it. Set a high vibe. That's why my third book is Wise Up to Rise Up. Okay? There's a sequence of my books. And it's all about leveling yourself up out of this darkness. And it's about making you understand that this state of hell is here. It's not anywhere else. It's here. Get it right within yourself. Hey, Kelly. Hi, guys. Hi, you and Aaron. You guys have an amazing day. Please kiss Lincoln for me. Hug him up. Tell him I miss him. And tell him I love him. And I got the kids' books for him, eh? So holler. Okay. Guys, I'm going to let you all off on a high note. Look, I don't try to make people feel crazy. I don't try to make people feel a way about what you guys are hearing. But it is real for me. And I want you guys to understand your power. And as long as you're living in a state of just reacting to everything that's happening in your life, you're not owning your power. Guys, I love you all. I want you guys to set a high vibe and put yourselves first no matter what. Go against everything that you've been made to believe. You can do that. The choice is yours. You don't have to stay shackled to any kind of anything that you don't want in your life. And this is why I tell you guys this. Okay? I've had to live it, to learn, to be able to teach it. But I don't have it all figured out. I'm just as human as the next. But man, it's been a ride. So I'll have an amazing day. And days no matter in the cat. That's right. And that's why I want you guys to set yourselves first. Set a high vibe. When you see limits, push past it. When you see an obstacle, get the learning out of whatever you need to learn to be able to level up. And then, yes, that's right, Jennifer, unlock those invisible chains. That's right, because they're self-induced blockages. And we don't even realize them because there's belief systems that have been planted there by others. Honestly, we got to make up our own belief systems within ourselves for our uniqueness of our experience. Because no two individuals are alike. Right? So the free will is what separates us. What makes you and I different is our own free will. And we don't even realize that because we're all fueled by our soul. So we become what we believe we are. So we can change that. Anyway, I'm going to sign off out of here. I love you guys all. I really love the interactions. You guys, you fill my heart all the time. All the time. I want you guys to set the highest of vibes today. Tell yourself that it doesn't matter what is happening around you. Nothing is greater than the power of your soul. Why? Because you matter the most in your experience. All right? I love you all. Have a great day. Peace out. And I really appreciate every one of you guys. If there's any topics that you guys really want me to hit home on and really do some intensive lives, I will. I can talk about anything. All right? Send them my way. Let me know. If you guys are interested in anything, let me know. Okay? I love y'all. Remember that you're sourced by an infinite, unconditional love that loves you no matter what. And everything's for learning. And don't forget that you matter the most within your experience. So govern it for you. All right? I love you all. Get the most out of your day. Have a great day. Peace.